We go to a deposition in Mansfield, Rhode Island, where the witness is Dr. David Eligman. He's testifying for the plaintiff, who's suing AC&S, a company that made parts for automobile brakes. The plaintiff claims he was exposed to asbestos, which caused him to develop mesothelioma, a type of cancer. The attorney representing the defendant is Samuel Terry, who sits off camera. He's questioning Dr. Eligman about the other workers and their exposure to asbestos. We'll admit testimony related to brake manufacturing is pretty dry, but things are about to heat up.
You say we are now aware of at least 6 additional mesothelioma cases in workers from the plant, 4 of whom had no other possible exposures to asbestos. Is that what you said?
Right.
Joining Eligman and Terry inside the room is Shepard Hoffman, the plaintiff's attorney, as well as a court reporter and other lawyers. There's also about a dozen participants listening in over the phone.
You say despite the fact that Tata is a co-author of one of the brake manufacturer-funded papers and works for the company that generated 3 of these papers.
Deposition interruptus.
The brake manufacturer-funded researchers failed to use any of these studies or data to assess the hazard of exposure to chrysotile-lined brakes. Is that what you said?
Doesn't sound like there are any objections from at least one person.
To assess the hazard of exposure to chrysotile-lined brakes. Is that what you said?
It seems someone has forgotten to press mute on the phone, and Dr. Eligman is clearly distracted. But Terry keeps going.
Did I read it correctly?
You're right.
Oh, I can't. Is there a party going on?
Terry finally hears it, as does probably everyone else listening to the deposition. The plaintiff's attorney decides to speak up.
The deposition on videotape also has a phone hookup with about a dozen people on the phone, and we're now listening to background noise on the phone. Phone people, would you put your mute buttons on so that those of you who are having a fun or a party or whatever you're doing that we're listening to, so we don't have to listen to it, and so the videotape doesn't have it. Thank you very much.
Hopefully, Hoffman's message was heard, but Dr. Eligman isn't about to take any chances.
Why don't we take a few-minute break before I start?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, time is 4:02. We are off the record.
The deposition reconvened about 12 minutes later with no apparent interruptions. As far as the civil case, AC&S eventually filed for bankruptcy and set up a trust of $500 million to settle the resulting lawsuits. And in case you're wondering, no one came forward publicly to claim responsibility for the so-called party.
The incident that occurred in the hot tub, can you describe for me what occurred?
Next, we go to a civil deposition in San Antonio, Texas. The plaintiffs are Bexar County deputies Leo Moreno and Christopher De La Cerda. They filed a suit against their former boss, Constable Michelle Barrientos Vela. The two claimed they were regularly mistreated by Vela and wrongfully fired from their jobs. At the heart of the suit is a sexual misconduct claim against Vela that allegedly occurred in a hotel hot tub during a business trip.
I was talking to another individual, and that's when she approached me in the hot tub.
Who approached you? Constable Vela?
Approached me. She came up to me, put her arms around me, and said, "Hey, what are you doing? This is my husband." And I was telling her, "You're not my husband. I'm not your husband." I said, "You need to step back," or I was moving her arm off of me, and she kept on coming back. She put both arms on me.
At one point, Leo pushes her with his foot. He slides her away, like, "What are you doing? Get away from me." She becomes upset. It says, "Hey, don't be touching me." And he goes, "Well, you don't be touching me."
According to the deputies, when they returned to work, things only got worse.
The conditions were really bad.
After De La Cerda was contacted by a fellow officer, they say their fate was essentially sealed.
She called me to tell me, hey, I don't know what's going on, but you and Leo just have to watch your backs. She wants y'all gone. She wants y'all fired.
The two deputies were eventually fired, but reinstated a few months later. At about the same time, they filed their civil suit.
Michelle Jeanette Barentes Vela.
When attorneys finally questioned Vela about her conduct, they don't get too far with her deposition.
I assert the Fifth Amendment privilege.
After nearly every question, Vela exercises her Fifth Amendment right to remain silent to avoid incriminating herself.
I assert the Fifth Amendment privilege.
That may seem odd in a civil deposition, but Vela was recently fired and indicted on multiple corruption charges. So anytime Moreno's attorney inquires about sexual misconduct, the responses are the same.
Did you make sexual overtures to Leo Moreno?
I'm going to assert the Fifth.
Did you discriminate against Chris De La Cerda because he was a witness to the sexual advances?
I'm going to assert the Fifth.
In a deposition that lasts only 44 minutes, Vela invokes the Fifth Amendment over 100 times.
I'm going to assert the Fifth. Assert the Fifth. The Fifth, Fifth.
The two deputies ultimately settled their suit and received $347,000 from the county. As for Vela, her criminal trial is pending.
This guy right here may tell me that I have to wait, but personally, I don't have to do nothing.
Next, we go to a video deposition of hip-hop star Dwayne Carter, better known as Lil Wayne. Wayne sued filmmaker Quincy Jones III over a documentary he appeared in during the making of his album The Carter 3. The artist claimed the film was a, quote, scandalous portrayal of him. Jones, meanwhile, sued Wayne right back, insisting that his claims hurt the film's profits. Wayne was interviewed by Jones's attorney, Peter Ross, who sits off camera. Also in the room was a judge and Wayne's attorney. Here, Ross asked Wayne about an interview he did with TV journalist Katie Couric after they watched a clip of it.
Is that an interview that you actually gave with Katie Couric?
Is that an interview that I actually gave with Katie Couric?
Yeah.
What's your name again?
Hey, well, that's not the question.
What's his name?
Pete Ross.
Huh?
Pete Ross.
Pete Ross, that's a stupid-ass question. You just saw me on there giving an interview with her.
Okay. So that was you.
Ross moved on to a different topic, specifically Wayne's live performances.
Did you perform at the Virgin Mobile Music Fest with Kanye West?
I don't know, but I know I did perform at this badass bitch birthday party recently. She was crazy, stupid thick.
Wayne didn't seem terribly interested. Ross continued asking about the artist's successful career.
Isn't it something that you would remember if your album, The Carter 3, was the biggest selling album of the year?
Isn't it something that I would remember that?
Yes.
Isn't that a personal opinion type question? Because that's why I got that. I mean, because I would be actually answering the question to, isn't it something? That's my question. Isn't it something?
That you would remember.
Isn't it something? That's the question I have to answer, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Isn't it something?
You can do the best trying to answer it.
Yeah, it's something out of your ass. That's my answer. Yeah, it is something out of your ass.
Ross took the insult in stride and moved on to a more serious subject.
Do you recall that any criminal actions were pending against you?
I don't recall any.
When Ross shifted to Wayne's criminal history, he received a string of similar-sounding answers.
Do you recall being at all concerned about any criminal actions that may have been pending against you at the end of 2008?
I don't recall. I don't recall that. I don't recall that neither. No, I don't recall that. I don't know. I don't know.
Do you remember being arrested in or about January 2008 near Yuma, Arizona?
No, I don't remember that.
Turns out Wayne wasn't the only one losing patience with the interview.
Well, how much longer is this line of questioning going to go on?
Not much longer.
That's Wayne's attorney chiming in.
All right, go ahead.
I don't know.
Didn't you win
I don't know.
the award for Best Rap Album of the Year in
I don't know.
2008 for the Carter 3?
I don't know.
Mr. Carter, you have to wait until the attorney is finished asking the question, please.
I'm sorry, that's my psychic. I'm sorry.
Despite Wayne's less than helpful responses, Ross was determined to get through this interview.
Go ahead, ask the question.
Thank you, Your Honor. Do you like
He
to...
can't save you, right? In the real world. That guy right there. He can't save you in the real world. Just so you know.
What does that mean?
I don't have to elaborate.
Is that a threat against
No,
us?
it's not.
Mr.
No,
Boston,
it's
can you
not.
just ask your next question, please?
He can't save you.
And what does that mean?
I was talking to myself.
But in the end, Ross's patience would pay off. A jury later ruled in favor of Jones, agreeing that Wayne's legal claims hurt the film. Wayne was ordered to pay the filmmaker $2.2 million. As for Wayne's original lawsuit, it was thrown out of court. Today, attorney Pete Ross is doing well as a partner in a major Los Angeles-based law firm. Next, we go back into the court cam archives, where tempers ran hot at one very tense deposition. This is Jack Garrett, a former chemist for Monsanto, a St. Louis-based industrial chemical company, being sued by more than 1,700 people in Harris County, Texas. The neighbors are claiming they suffered severe health problems as a result of living near a toxic waste dump site once used by the company to discard hazardous materials. Garrett's here today for a deposition.
When you were at Monsanto, what was your title? At Monsanto, what do you mean? In Texas City. Research chemist.
So far, so good, but that's about to change.
Was that your title during your entire stay at Texas City? Texas City, yes. Don't talk over each other.
Interrupting is attorney Edward Karstoffan, who doesn't represent Garrett, but represents Monsanto, the company.
After you left Texas City...
Wait a minute, let me ask a question here.
Yeah.
You represent this guy or not?
Who are you?
My name's Tucker, and I represent Ayrshire, and I just want to know, do you represent the guy or not? If you don't represent him, you don't have any right to be making any objection. If you do represent him, tell us so.
Karstoffan has heard Tucker's suggestion and offers a suggestion of his own.
Why don't you keep your mouth shut? I'll do what I want.
No, you're not going to do what you want.
Oh, wait.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
That's bull.
Whatever objections I want to make, and I'll make them as loud as I want to make them. Now, you just shut your mouth and we'll keep the record straight.
Don't tell me to shut my mouth, boy. You may be big, but you want to see how bad you are? Come on.
And I wouldn't try that, Ed.
Are you threatening to fight?
Hold on just a second.
No, I want to know whose side we're on. We're going to be outnumbered, Ed.
Meanwhile, Jamail lets Karstoffan know this ain't his first rodeo. He's representing 259 people as the lead attorney for the plaintiffs.
I'm going to tell you something else. You don't run this deposition. You understand?
To you, Joe.
You watch and see. You watch and see who does. Big boy.
I'm telling you, Joe.
No, you ain't telling me a thing.
No,
But don't be telling another lawyer to shut up.
Don't be
That
telling
ain't your job,
that's not
fat
your
boy.
job. Mr.
Get back.
Hairpiece. Don't be
That
telling
ain't your
me.
job,
That's not
fat
your
boy.
job. Mr.
Get back.
Hairpiece.
This deposition, with lawyers making big bucks by the hour, has officially devolved into an exchange of childish insults.
I said before, you have an incipient bad mouth. What do you want to do about it? Well, I'd like to knock you on your head. Come try it. Come over here and try it, you dumb son of a...
Wait just a second.
Oh, I'd like to knock you on your head. Come try it. Come over here and try it, you dumb son of a...
Wait just a second.
Come over here.
Hold it. Hey, wait a minute. Hold on. No way.
Get
Hold on.
Thankfully, the two men never came to blows. But after the insults stopped flying, it was Jamail who ultimately landed the knockout punch. Monsanto Company settled the lawsuit and agreed to pay out $39 million to the plaintiffs.
Attorney Robert Abrams, license 37950, appearing pro se.
Next, we're in Denver, Colorado, for the deposition of attorney Robert Abrams. Abrams' firm was added as a defendant alongside their client in a lawsuit between two former business partners and are being sued for fraud, conspiracy, and aiding and abetting a criminal by the plaintiff.
Good morning, Mr. Abrams. Do you understand why you've been asked to give your deposition today?
No.
To say tensions are high in the room would be an understatement. Asking the questions off camera is the plaintiff's lawyer, Tom Werge. And on the other side of the table is Abrams' lawyer, Neil Sullenberger.
Are you aware that your firm, Abrams and Associates, is a defendant in a lawsuit that's going to trial next month?
Yes.
Have you had your deposition taken before?
I think so.
When have you had your deposition taken before?
I don't recall.
How many times?
I don't recall.
You're sitting here today under oath. You have no idea whether you've been deposed before?
I've answered that question. Object to form. Move on.
Object to form is a quick way to object during a deposition and, in effect, ask the attorney to clarify the question.
Have you been deposed?
Object to form. Object to form. Move to certify the question. If you feel that I haven't answered, then you can move for a sanction.
We're going to go ahead and stop the deposition at this point and dial the special master. Good morning. Yes, we are in the middle of a deposition this morning.
But when the special master isn't available, plaintiff's attorney Tom Werge asks the same question again.
Mr. Abrams, have you had your deposition taken before?
And gets the same answer.
Object to form. Asked and answered. Move on.
You need to answer the question.
The question was answered. Excuse me. Have her read it back.
Yep. Mr. Abrams, this is not your deposition.
Please don't harass me.
No, I'm not harassing you.
We're going to move for sanctions against you.
I'm asking you to
if you're not
answer
going
the
to
question.
allow
He just
her-
answered the question.
As the heated back and forth continues, Abrams, who is a witness, begins making his own objections, which a witness is not allowed to do during a deposition.
I'm going to raise, move to strike, find it objectionable, and then move for sanctions for harassment under Rule 30D. You can look it up if you don't know it.
Mr. Abrams, I feel quite confident that if any sanctions are entered in this matter, it's going to be against you.
Object to form.
For continuing to obstruct and not answer any of my questions.
Object to
You
form.
cannot object.
I just did.
You cannot.
I just did. I'm a lawyer. I'm a licensed, unblemished member of the bar. Unblemished. If you laugh at me one more time, we're going to walk out.
We're going to move for 30D3 sections.
We're going to move for harassment sanctions against you right now.
Things only get worse when the arguments take a personal turn.
We're going to be here for a long time today if you do not answer my questions. I can't even get through my initial questions here because you are being so obstructionist.
That's
today.
because you're a weak lawyer. You have us down here for fraud. Ask us fraud questions.
Okay, let's ask a couple more questions. Mr. Abrams, what are the pills that you just took?
Object to form.
None of your business.
Privilege.
What are those other pills?
Object to form. Object to privilege.
None of your business. But I can tell you that if you took some of these, they would help get some of your weight off. I can tell you that.
Oh, you're referring to when you called me fat when you walked in here.
Object to form.
If you want to raise your weight problem, Mr. Ward, with the jury and with the special master, please do. But we're not the ones that are sitting here in that condition.
I am going to end this deposition now.
Okay.
Mr. Abrams, we're going to continue it while we seek intervention of the special master.
Fine.
It's clear that you are not here to answer any questions today. We are going to move for sanctions against you and your firm for your conduct during this deposition, and we will take that up with the special master.
And we'll represent your conduct during this deposition.
Please do.
After reviewing the transcripts from the deposition, the special master issued an order for sanctions against Abrams. His behavior during the deposition, along with other misconduct in the case, would ultimately earn Abrams a 9-month license suspension.
You have no evidence. Put something in front of me and we'll answer the questions. You have nothing.